would you say if I told you that boundaries gave you access to your soul? Boundaries are the gateway to your soul's voice, clarity, and vision. Isn't that interesting? I have heard that message before, and I just got it in a brand new way, and I'm here to give you a reading on that. I also have some information I want to share, but my guides are really very clear this time around. They said, really a reading is the way, because I feel like there's going to be a lot that comes through. When I do these kind of messages, I tap into the collective. And so everyone, welcome. I'm here to give you a reading. I'm here to talk a little bit about boundaries, how important they are, how necessary they are, and how they really are. They are the gateway to your dreams and to the clarity and joy and creation that you want to have going forward in your life. So I'm going to be pulling from my different decks. Very excited, guys. So welcome. And as I said, this is for the collective. If you're watching this right now, then there's something here for you. And I'm going to be working with some decks I haven't pulled from in a while. And if certain things don't resonate, leave them behind. I always say that. Just really tap into your own inner voice. This is where your soul is going to resonate with you if there's something here that makes sense. And at this point, I do believe this reading is very fundamentally geared toward the boundaries that we have in life. And to give you a quick little tidbit going in, there are a lot of boundaries we're going to discuss: energetic, physical, spiritual, and emotional, how they affect the body, the nervous system. I'm going to go into that in a minute. So in the meanwhile, I'm pulling for some decks here. So let's see what we have. I'm working with Soul Lessons and Soul Purpose deck right now. So I want you thinking in the meanwhile, what is it that you need to know or hear regarding maybe some situations going on within your own life? Let's see what the guides have to say. Boundaries can be the hardest thing to implement, especially if you are a very intuitive person. You're going to feel a lot of things, and sometimes working with other people's energy is a default mode that gets you closer to your own peace, but that doesn't last for long, guys. That doesn't last in the course of your life. It's going to become really difficult to hold that energy when you're kind of tapping into other people's energy versus your own. And so the first two cards are perfect for this. I have the Be Creative card. Being creative is what we were just talking about. Moving toward your own life, your own dreams, your own goals. Finding what it is that you are that you're really being called toward within yourself and in your life. If you've noticed in this, I'm going to hold this up for you, and I'm going to make sure it's in the video, a closer look at it. This being creative, as you can see, he kind of is holding on to a line that basically allows him to free flow a little bit, but there is a confinement around it, interestingly enough. If you are really pulled into other people's energies, your creativity gets you're robbed of so much of what you would be able to offer, and your hearing, the hearing within you, your own voice, because it's very easy to become hijacked by things around you. And again, this is not something that is conscious very often, although sometimes it is. Sometimes people will pull you in knowingly, but this is all about sovereignty, and this is about knowing where you can be flexible within your own creative space while still being attached to the world around you and the people around you, and certainly the connections we have in our lives, because the next card that matches with this one is to detach from drama. It seems sometimes that it just becomes this unconscious pull that people bond and they connect and they relate to each other through drama, through stories about other people, stories about themselves, ways of relating that don't necessarily bring you to a higher level. These can often be stories that kind of just entertain, quite honestly. And again, I don't want to sound judgmental, but I will say, if you don't start to become aware of it and you don't see it, it will take on a life of its own. I feel at times that it's become such a programming from when we're younger that if we relate to people through the stories of their own lives, and very often they are stories that can become they can become embellished, and they become through the lens of the person who perhaps is seeing it in ways that that aren't very neutral, that can be just a flair for the dramatic, to get into drama. These are conditionings that can become set within you, and that you become used to when it comes to, I don't care if it's an old relationship or a new one, it just becomes the mode of operating. And this is not the time for that. This is not the time for that, because there'll be plenty in the world that will always give you that, and it is a distraction. It becomes a distraction from your own creativity to get pulled into these types of these ways of relating. And it isn't helpful. It is not helpful to do that over the long haul, because what happens is time goes by, and the next thing you know, you're not creating in your own life. You're not setting your own dreams in motion. You're literally just bouncing off of the things around you, kind of ping pong, and it's not there to move you forward. It's just not. So right off the bat, boundaries, and in these, I would call them energetic and boundaries being really important. And again, I'm going to kind of just do a quick connection to this at the end to just kind of relate to it all. But energetic boundaries come from the room you walk in, and you don't know why it feels a certain way, or people come to you and they want to unload and vent. And again, people, we're here to help each other and support, but there are some people that will keep doing that in a way to just sort of keep the story going for themselves, and for them to feel better, and for them to sort of process their own energetic system through yours, to offload it. And that's where energetic boundaries, excuse me, become really tricky. And I'm sure you can think of many times throughout your life and day, on the day to day, where that happens. And this is a time for awareness. This is what Spirit is telling me, that you have to start really, once you know, and you can't allow yourself to go into that. You're gonna, that usual way of relating, you're gonna kind of have to hold up a line. And we can talk about ways to do that in a minute. Sometimes literally taking your 2 feet and walking away is the best. But there are going to be ways that you need to just stop that in its tracks. And so let's see what other clarifiers we can get here with the Enchanted Oracle deck. It takes practice, just like anything else. I know for me, I had to learn them, and I still do every single day. I have to have awareness, because I don't want to create that relating energetic, and I certainly don't enjoy being pulled into it. And it happens, like I said, before you know it, very often. Okay, and so interesting. This is the second time I've gotten this reading with you guys. So the home card just came up again, and then I got flying with it. A beautiful little Pegasus flying. Okay, so this is where I think that, hold on. This is where, yeah, the guides are basically like, they're reminding you that you are the sovereign being in your own life, and it doesn't matter what's going on around you, or how pulled in, or how many tentacles are coming at you and pulling at you and trying to pull you in different directions. You are sovereign. You're sovereign, and you need to have your voice. Your voice needs to come on deck. That's what I'm hearing. And sometimes, again, it's not just about walking away from situations. It's about being in a situation and being so at home with who you are in your own skin that you can stop the momentum of whatever direction the energetics are around you, that you get to move them, and you get to alchemize them and change them, and you get to transmute them by your awareness of your sovereignty. Yeah. And they're talking about too the fact that when you do that, when you start to change dynamics, when you start to move the pieces around in a way that they've never been, that gives you access to your dreams, and that you are able to move in directions, and it will literally, the flying card is just a beautiful representation of that. Things quickly will move in the direction you want. It doesn't have to be linear. It's that you will find yourself being lifted spiritually, emotionally, mentally. You're going to have access to awarenesses and clarity that you wouldn't have otherwise had. Because what's very often happens when we get pulled into these distractions of the energies of things, and again, it might be from a person, it might be from a situation, it might be from the world, it might be all of the above, usually is. Things get jangled, and then you don't have the awarenesses and the just, again, the clarity of what is in front of you, what needs to be done next, what you don't even have access to, maybe looking beyond what is in front of you. And that will keep you stuck, and it will keep you weighed down in a way that you don't have to be. You don't have to be. There are so many like levers and pulleys that can move you so quickly and leverage yourself into a new place, a better place, that maybe you've been like affirming, or you're like, oh, I made this plan, and it's like, for whatever reason, nothing keeps changing. It's like, it's very likely because boundaries are not in place in a sustainable way. And just to, give you some examples, like when I first started working in spirituality and in a true sense, where I realized that, wow, there are these the energetics of things are real. I was so surprised to know that there are all these layers of boundaries. I always thought it was just sort of like telling someone, no thanks, I'm not interested, or or maybe just seeing something and being like, I'm gonna kind of move along in a different direction. They're literally energy boundaries that we're not even aware of, as I kind of pointed out earlier. They just show up when you're kind of in it. And it's because it's been compounding, and we were not able to have access to that inner guidance in our heart and our nervous system. And our nervous systems get like in this state of just movement, and probably in a dysregulated state very often, where the information doesn't even get in. It just doesn't compute. And so before you can even get into all the ways that you can access intuition, boundaries are the first step. And they are something that needs to be practiced daily, sometimes minute by minute. It's just something that will always be a requirement, especially if you are someone that is wired intuitively to be spongier and to be someone that absorbs energy or just interprets it so well that it just, you are one with it. So that's why this reading really makes a whole lot of sense, and I really want to keep it rolling as far as what else we need to know about boundaries in this particular case, and see if I'm going to get anything a little more specific. So, all right, the wisdom of the oracle, moving into this one. So let's see. See if there are any examples I'm getting. When I always would call this, when my kids were younger, they love that Chuck E. Cheese place. So I'm being reminded by Spirit, they're like, remember the Chuck E. Cheese syndrome, you would call it? Like, yeah, this Chuck E. Cheese syndrome. So I knew they loved going there. I was not a super big fan, because as someone who has a very heightened and overloaded nervous system at times, before I really even realized it, it was, I would be like, oh, all these sounds and all this frenetic energy, this is just a lot. So I would kind of gear myself up and be like, all right, guys, let's go. We can do this. And we're going to stay, and maybe you stay for 2 hours or an hour and a half. I don't know. So I would bring my things, and I'd be like, all right, here we are. I have a plan. Well, we'll eat, we'll do these things. I'm going to break it up, and everything will be great. And I would say to myself along the way, yeah, I think this is going okay. I think it's going okay. And then out of nowhere, it would feel like. I'd be like, it's time to go. We're not even gonna eat the tickets, crunch the tickets, take your stuff. We've already done enough. We're going. It's time to go. And that was my Chuck E. Cheese syndrome. And that was because basically I didn't even realize the compounding of my nervous system energy and all the energies that were kind of coming in hot, a little too hot. And that is very often what happens in life, just circumstances. That's why people very often have trouble going to the mall or really heightened emotional places where there are big crowds. Because if you think about all of that energy and all the different energies going on, if you're someone that just kind of absorbs and doesn't know how to kind of hold the line, it can get squirrely, it can get difficult. And that was a little reminder I got. Think about those times in your life when you're like, I know I can do this. And you think you set yourself up, and then there are a couple things that are not in place. That kind of energy within the system is a real thing. We feel it. It's in the body. It runs through our nervous system. Truly, the soul runs on our nervous systems, and I'm just really starting to that is landing as truth within me more than it's ever have, honestly, in the last couple of months, because things have changed so much. And because of doing this work again, it's wild, guys. It's wild. So this is why I'm here. So leg up. I got the leg up card, and then you can't make it up because there's no place like home. No place like home. Again, the home card. So this is, again, a reminder. And if you look at this home, I love the images on this one because it shows this home is literally held by spirit. It's like in this, it's like a beanpole or something that's holding it like one of those rods that hold flowers in the garden. And you are home. You are home. You are home to you. And if you're going to invite people into your home energetically, you have to be careful. And I'm going to get into that in a second. And a leg up card, the leg up card is about asking for help and assistance. The leg up, the polar bears and beautiful mom, helping the baby, supporting the baby. That's spirit. That is spirit helping us and giving us tools to be able to manage and not have to do this ourselves. You don't have to do it yourself. It's not a mental thing. There's much spiritual support, as well as, again, when you have your awarenesses and you have your tools in your toolbox, then it can be done. And it's, again, a daily practice. It's like anything else we do to take care of ourselves. The home card. I'm going to go back to this because I was given the analogy years ago about your own sacred space within you and the things that you value and hold true to you, your life, the values that you have, again, your relationships, the way you want to cultivate them, your goals and dreams, your own very unique lens of how you want to create in the world and the life you want to live. This is sacred territory. This is sacred territory, and it's to be honored. And so you are the home of all of that. And if you imagine yourself as a home where someone knocks on the door and they just come in, they put their feet up, they just don't know. It's like they stomp around. They brought mud in with them. They stomp around. They don't take their shoes off. They don't even bother to say sorry that they brought the mud in. People do it all the time energetically. And as I said earlier, sometimes people know they're doing it and other times they don't. And honestly, it doesn't matter either way. Your job is to become aware of who you allow into your home, into your own sacred space. And there are people that you give them a chance. Maybe they've said, "Oh, sorry, I had no idea. Oh, excuse me. Let me fix that. Let me take care of it. Let me clean up that mud. Let me take my shoes off. I'm so sorry. I wasn't aware." Great. Then there are those that are just going to be like, "Oh, I don't take my shoes off in my house and it's not my house, so I don't care." They're not the ones allowed in. They're no longer allowed in. They will let you know quickly. I have found you give people one chance, usually it's enough. Some people only have access. They don't even get in through the front door. They don't even get to the foyer. They're certainly not in your kitchen or your family room. They might only be allowed at your mailbox where you can wave to them from across the street. Not everyone has access to you as the home that you are, to your sacred self, to your beautiful soul. to the spirit within you that is here to create and to participate in this beautiful place that we live on, this beautiful earth. That's beautiful. I really, really love that. I'm going to pull, these are new. Well, not new. I've had these for a while, but I haven't taken them out in a really long time. So these are new to this type of reading. And so these are the Wisdom of Healing cards. So Wisdom of Healing. And let's see what the message is from that. Once you start to hold a line, it's not easy. I won't say it's easy, but it becomes really clear where you need to. And it almost becomes a game. I always look at it as a game, meaning like, what do you have to lose? So you try something that's uncomfortable. You say no thank you. You speak up for yourself in a way that maybe you never did. You surprise people by changing the dynamic. These are good things. They demonstrate that you see your own worth. Your soul really likes that. And you demonstrate that, yeah, you are safe in the world, so that if you really want to, if you want to have access to your dreams and you want to have access to some greater goal, that you're capable of holding that energy, because it takes a lot of energy, honestly, to manage energy of other people and to withstand some of the dissonance that sometimes comes from that. Ultimately, you become stronger. It's like a muscle, which is so great. I love that. Okay. This is awesome. So this one is it's showing the chakra system and showing practicing visualization. This is a reminder also of the energies of the chakras that I've talked about before. They are all energy systems within your body. They are very organized, very intelligent and wise, and they manage all of the energy that is flowing through your nervous system and the meridians. So this one is to visualize. And so today's lesson, so this is practice visualization, and it says today's lesson: visualize what you need to heal or create in your life. The image needs to fill all 7 chakras. So consciously place that picture into each of them. With each breath, animate these images, bring them to life, and fill your being. Your goal: to practice and believe in the power of visualization. So just like athletes do that when they go out, before they go out in the field for a big game, that they do as part of their training, is to visualize. And it is a mode of creating. It is a powerful one. But even before you want to visualize, through meditation or just through your own daydreaming, which is very powerful, boundaries need to be in place. So what I want to talk about real quick is that boundaries. Okay, so they're energetic, physical, spiritual, and then emotional boundaries. So all of these are in play when you're interacting in the course of a day, and they affect your human energy field. They affect your aura, they affect your meridians, they affect your chakra system, as I've said, and they run through your nervous system, it's all the same, guys. The more I learn about this, the more it's really exciting I've never thought of these things this way, and I've studied this for a long time, but more and more, again, because it's sort of, again, we're the computers in this world. The internet is the world around us, and the frequencies are changing, and there's a lot going on the planet that is evolving, and it's starting to run through us different. Our bodies are literally changing. Our bodies are becoming more light body, which is wild to think of, which means our energy is actually running the show more than ever, even though the physicality of things, we think it's all we see, and it's simply not. So there are all those different types of energy, whether it's like you feel it in the person and the way they speak to you, or just feel it in the room before they even speak. The physical energy, the physical boundaries, are actually more about creating distance sometimes. Or if you are talking to someone and they are unloading on you, you can move that solar plexus, that power center, away from them. That was something that one of my teachers, Sonia, taught quite a bit, is that physically move yourself in the direction away from that. You don't need to absorb things, or you can at that point visualize that you want to kind of create a barrier that you're not here to absorb it. You can feel when you're absorbing it very often. Sometimes not, but very often you can. Your spiritual boundaries, and then there's emotional boundaries. I'll talk about emotional first. So emotional boundaries are the ones where you don't get pulled into someone's processing of things because they want you to, because they want you to meet them there. That doesn't feel good. You start to notice it. If you're bonding over that, then check into it, because no one needs, you're really not meant to bond in a way, even when someone is suffering and you really want them to feel better. To meet them where they are does not help them. It does not change the frequency, and it simply just keeps you in the muck, so yeah, that's not worth doing. Don't do that. Spiritual boundaries are interesting because they are, and I'm doing a quick dive on this. Sorry, I'm going to bounce around a bit here. Spiritual boundaries come from your spirit guides, and they come from angels, and they come from the unseen realm, and they are excited. They want to be with you. They want you to feel their energy, and very often they're tapping in and they're trying to bring you stuff, and it can get a little clogged and it can get a little overwhelming. So it's okay also to say to your guides, hold on, give me a minute. Let me have a minute here, because it can overwhelm you. And I have experienced that, still do. Like, it's not just that sometimes you can download information and get all this energy running the system in a not great way. You can get it in a good way, and still, for me, it will still fry out my nervous system. Like, really good energy, sometimes I have to still find a way to recalibrate it and realign it and be like, all right, I need to ground myself. I need to get grounded, which is the next step. Every day, I really want you to get grounded from your about your belly button, your hips, down to the earth. I want you to visualize something, whether it's roots that kind of engulf that lower part of your core all the way down to your feet, down to the earth, and then allowing roots to go down to the core of the earth, or I've been doing crystal lately, because that's been what my soul is telling me. It's like, it's crystals. So, and I noticed crystals changing color depending on what I'm kind of releasing. So you have to get grounded. Do it when you brush your teeth. Do it when you're in the shower, first thing, whatever in the morning gets you going, or if you meditate, or if you're a runner, before you do it, whatever it is you're doing, ground yourself and make it the intention. Like, whatever I'm starting to absorb or what I'm starting to receive, I need to ground it to the earth, just the way a lightning rod grounds, energy from the top of a building down to the earth. Like, we are electricity. These are electromagnetic currents that are running through us, guys. The nervous system is a real deal. It's a conduit, and we need to ground into the earth. And when I find that I've grounded myself and then it hits me later, I go back to grounding. I have to remind myself, okay, I need to release this, and give yourself that visualization of releasing it, because it really needs to be done in order to stay healthy. Mentally, physically, spiritually. Our bodies they're magnificent, and they're so wise and intelligent, but we need to work with them. This stuff is high voltage. It really is. It's amazing to know just how high voltage we are. And that's why you can just feel it. You can feel it more than ever. I don't know if you can, but I really, really, I wouldn't be able to get this stuff done without this grounding technique. So give yourself also like body scan. Just feel where you're at. Like, feel your meridians, or feel your energy centers. Like, where are you starting to feel like you're just kind of overloaded, or maybe even leaking energy? And again, I'm going to do another video on that, because that's real. That is real. It definitely happens. Okay, so I think I'm going to pull one more card to leave you with. I hope it resonates with you. Again, take what resonates, leave the rest. This is the wisdom of the hidden realms. Let's see if there's anything that the guides want to add. And I want you to use this as a chance to just reflect on where that is true in your life, where you know that you got to start setting some of those boundaries, and start thinking about the energy boundaries as well. Because, like I said, I've never thought about them that way. It was really interesting to figure that out. It was something really new to me. All right, this guy wants to come out. Ooh, I love this Gaia's garden. This is beautiful. I love this. So it's fruition, abundance, reaping what you sow. You will get so many good things coming your way when you start holding yourself separate from things around you that don't serve you, and you have to do it through your boundary system. Your own, create one, and play around with it. Make it a game. nothing here is all that personal, guys. Even when it feels like it's just such a big deal. Yeah, there are things going on and things going on in your own life, I'm sure. And I know it happens with me as well, in the world. But there is no need to worry so much and to get pulled into so many different directions that at the end of the day didn't matter. You just look back and you're like, that was such a waste of my time, energy, and space. And all it did was keep me from bringing in and allowing the next steps towards all the good things I want to bring in. Okay. So this is where you have to start getting like, this is the grown-up version of being an intuitive person. You can wear all the crystals you want and you can do your quick visualization, but if you can't implement it and you can't actually put a voice to, no, that doesn't work for me anymore, or I think I'm going to pass on that, or, I think I just need to have space for myself in order to reflect on something, all the ways that you can say that to people around you or implement it in your life. If you don't have that ability to say those words and to really embody them, because energy never lies. It never lies. And if you don't embody those, people they'll run you over, and they'll run over your boundaries, and you'll find yourself doing the same thing to other people. Because again, it's not conscious all the time. It just becomes a mode of operating, and it does not need to be. It does not need to be. And so I'm leaving it there, guys. And so if you are interested in more readings, I do have on my website, I have some openings, and I'd be happy to work with you. I love to do that because there's nothing better than finding your own sovereignty and really just going for life the way you want. There's nothing like it. All right, guys, I hope you're having a beautiful day. Thanks so much for being with me. Bye.